Now, as we discussed earlier in the show, Facebook today unveiled its crypto app set to launch in 2020. It will be a digital wallet called Calibra, used for storing and sending Libra, a new cryptocurrency that will also launch in 2020. The group behind the cryptocurrency is the Libra Association, which has 29 founding members, including some big names you know, like Visa, MasterCard, Uber, Lyft, eBay, and Spotify. And joining us live from DC to talk more about it is the Libra Association's head of policy, Dante Disparte. Hi, Dante. Thanks for coming on.
Hi. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Great. Well, let's get into it via those partners. As I said, a lot of those are names that certainly our Yahoo Finance viewers know. What does it mean for those companies to have signed on as founding members of the Libra Association? What is the buy-in there, and does it mean that we can expect them to accept Libra eventually as payment?
Yeah, I think it means two things. At one, I think there's a clear kind of common connection among all the founding partners. There's 28 groups in total, including household names in the payments network like Visa and MasterCard. I think at one level, it's a big moment for digital assets and cryptocurrencies generally, which is that they would be accepted with near universal sort of adoption given those types of networks. The second big commitment that I think this project represents is a commitment among the founding members and the association to really drive a wedge on issues of financial inclusion and opportunity.
Dante, Miles here. I read the white paper much like I think many people would read an S1, which is, whatever the company says about themselves, the top is very important. And I think what really stood out to me and many others is the low volatility nature of Libra that you guys are hoping to have around this product. When you think internally about what low volatility means for Libra versus other cryptos, how do you guys kind of define that?
Well, I think it's defined first and foremost to put the term currency back in cryptocurrency, which is that it really is designed to be a unit of purchase and a unit of daily transactions, as opposed to a speculative asset, which is candidly where many cryptocurrencies have stood, and they've done well in that class if you're interested in volatility. Libra as an asset is really meant to serve daily needs and to empower billions of people today.
Hey, Dante, it's Heidi. So there are a lot of concerns with trust and privacy when it comes to Facebook. There's a claim out there saying that this is going to be completely independent. Will that really be the case?
Yeah, well, I can't speak directly on Facebook-related issues. The truth of the matter is that the way this would be regulated and the types of companies that would offer customers on-ramps into this digital currency, that type of data would be heavily segregated and firewalled from any type of social media information and data that consumers would have. And this whole ecosystem, isn't existing in a vacuum of financial regulations and consumer privacy and trust. Quite to the contrary, our stated goal is really to advance those standards and to abide by them wherever possible.
Dante, let's stick with Heidi's point there about Facebook and the question of independence, because I think a lot of media outlets are representing this as Facebook's cryptocurrency. And of course, to read both news announcements that were timed simultaneously today, well, that's not what Facebook and Libra are saying. They're saying, Libra is separate, it's based in Geneva, it's an independent group. What do you say to those who say, come on, this is clearly a Facebook thing?
Well, candidly, I would say that, from a structural point of view, this is a fairly enlightened moment on many levels. For one, we have 28 founding members in this organization. It's independent. The technology itself, while incubated initially at Facebook, is being set up as an open source technology. Every one of the organizations in the Libra Association, starting today with 28, and then by the time the currency launches in 2020, we're aiming to have 100 organizations involved. Every one of those will have exactly the same weight, exactly the same power and governance in the association. So Facebook and its power has been put under some pretty severe checks and balances. And I think, look, we can't negate the opportunity of pulling 1 billion plus users on Facebook's platforms into modern finance and cutting friction out of that type of money transfer and payments. But nevertheless, the association itself is really very much independently structured and governed.
Now, Dante, you guys have obviously had conversations with lawmakers already. That conversation will be ongoing as you get towards that 2020 launch. What's your sense at this point of what some of the biggest challenges may be? What are kind of some of those discussions you're having with regulatory bodies about what Libra is doing or needs to do to kind of meet some of the regulations that may be existent either here or around the world?
Well, no question. This today is really the beginning of this project and merely a way of asserting to the world and key constituents around the world that this is the vision to empower billions of people, 1.7 billion without a bank account and nearly the same number who are underbanked. And clearly, a conversation with regulators is an evolving conversation as we lead towards the launch of the digital currency. The association itself will of course, drive that global sort of conversation and policy framework. But each of the entities that would offer consumers an on-ramp into the Libra currency will, of course, be regulated in their own jurisdiction. So we think this very much advances the goals that policymakers and financial regulators would want to have in their system, encouraging healthy competition, supporting privacy and security, and removing as much friction as we can from finance today.
All right, it is going to be very interesting to see when both Libra and Calibra launch next year. That is Dante Disparte, Head of Policy at the Libra Association. Thanks so much, Dante.
Thank you.